Man, what's good with y'all? Today I wanted to share a team and talk a little bit about the meta. As I show you this team that I won a pretty big tour with. It was an online tour, the Nino FF number 84. Pretty big, 141 players. Pretty big. Had some really cool names, right? Like a second place Luca Paz, regional champion. BGC corner, Brady Smith, another really strong player. Also regional champion, and yeah, really good at the game. Joey X9, I feel like I don't know how to introduce him, but yeah, regional champion, very good at the game. So yeah, some really cool names. Alexa VGC was here too, who actually did play on top of Iceberg and Joey X9, just so you are aware. Anyway, before I start, hope you guys will leave, comment, like, subscribe. That'll really mean a lot. But yeah, let's talk about the team. So I guess to really begin with the team, I'd like to put you guys onto a team report made by a really strong Japanese player named Taro Okada. I will put his Twitter in the comments. He's a really good player. He actually beat me at the World Championships, which not very many people did. I mean, just to put it bluntly, not very many people did beat me that Worlds. So, very cool. He's very good at the game. He built this awesome team. If you guys aren't on ladder, this team is probably like 30 to 40% of all teams right now, or at least like blueprint for 30% of all teams on ladder right now. It's really good. It wasn't necessarily built by him. I don't think it was. It was a collaboration of a lot of Japanese, really strong Japanese players. So really awesome team. Y'all should check this out. Again, I'll put Taro's Twitter in the comments so y'all can check this out. Really good team report too, and he put EVs and everything in here so y'all can play this. Rental as well. So what were we playing for? It's the Pokemon Day week. We were playing for a top 8. Top 8 got invited to it's a close off tour for, I guess, only players that ended up scoring top 8 or better. And there's a couple Pokemon Day tours, I believe. So y'all can still get involved in this. I believe it's until March 1st, which is quite a long time to go ahead and try to get top 8 in a tour. But yeah, that's what we're playing for. I ended up getting top 8. I ended up winning the whole thing, and this is my team. So, really standard. Like I said, huge inspiration from this team from Taro. Yeah, I think it's pretty standard. I think one thing I'd like to comment on is I don't think this team is necessarily better than the original. I think Golden Go was pretty weak most of the tour. It did do some stuff, but it was pretty weak. Among Us is amazing though. Sludge Bomb was a really cool tech. Some other really cool techs like Stellar Terra, Chimpao. That was Taro's, of course, Taro's idea, which and definitely not mine. Terra Water Urshifu was a little bit different. Really good. It came up quite a lot. Then Raging Bolts, I consider running Thunderbolts. Like Electro was pretty good, and it would help with the Golden Goma quite a lot. But again, like it's like a question of how much more comes up. How much more often it comes up than Thunderbolt, which I don't think it comes up as often, if that makes sense. Like I consider it. I consider running Thunderbolt here. I'm not saying drop Electro Web, but definitely consider it. For EVs, pretty standard. This is really standard. This is from Taro. Another Taro spread. Taro made this one as well. So this is Taro spread as well. So again, all Taro spread. This is Taro spread as well. So I really just ripped that pace from him. Very cool team. Amugi spread. Gonna be standard. I thought special defense was probably gonna be stronger because again, this team has no other Flutterman resist. So you kind of have to take them Shadow Balls pretty well. Sludge Bomb, I'm really amazing. It was so good. I clicked it like 5 or 6 times some games. I clicked it nearly every game, but it was really good. Like some of the things you can do with it are like, of course, it pairs really well with U-turn Urshifu because you U-turn on Oracle Pond and then follow it up with Sludge Bomb. That's a KO every time. If they want a Terra, you can Spore them next turn without their grass type, without their grass typing. So it's like kind of a lose for them, right? Like what do? They can protect, I guess, but that only like stalls the inevitable with that. And you get a repositioning, which is, yeah, like it was really strong. And I really think if you guys are running Among Us and you guys ever feel like Among Us is kind of trapped on the field sometimes, run Sludge Bomb because, again, like fishing for poison is really good, especially when incidents on the field. Most of them have safety goggles these days, so fishing for poison with Sludge Bomb is a really it's just very I'm really blanking. It's just a really nice thing to do with your time, if that makes sense. Like Pokemon's all about time. Like if you're wasting your turns clicking Spore into a Goggles Instant when you could be slash one poisoning it, yeah, that's kind of tough. Right? Terra Fairy, Golden Go, pretty standard. I kind of want to do damage because I feel like one of the important things is with Metal Coat, you kind of do give yourself the ability to just click Make It Rain without setting up. So that's kind of more what I was doing with this specific Golden Go. Like I consider some other items here, like Life Orb could be interesting, or even more of that. Choice Specs might be interesting if you feel like you can position it well. Overall, like I feel like Golden Go wasn't amazing. I wouldn't give it like flying stars or flying colors or whatever. Like it was alright. It kind of did what it did. Everyone else definitely carried Golden Go though, if I'm being completely honest. Everyone else did a very good job. I'm very proud of them. Let's talk about the tour a little bit. Now, pretty standard. I mean, the metagame's like very, very figured out. That's my meta take right now. Pretty much the meta's pretty much solved, and it's kind of up to us as players to get good at this. Like, I mean, just take the strongest team you can think of, team you're really good at, and just perfect it. I think that's kind of where the meta is right now. Like, there is absolutely no surprises here. You know, Ogerpon number 1, I'm pretty sure this combines all forms, if I'm not wrong. I mean, even if it doesn't, Ogerpon Water is so strong right now. This is just absolutely not shocking at all. Flutter Mane, still the king. Instant, absolutely no one's surprised that it's crazy usage. Raging Bolt's probably the most important piece of the meta right now. Urshifu, Tornadus, Fair Draft, Landorus, Rillaboom, Amoonguss, Urshifu again, Chien-Pao, Blue Cylinder. Very, very standard. Very, 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 very standard. Nothing to really point out. I think again, like it's really revolving around what the teams that we know. Again, number 2 and number 3 were the same team with one slot change. This is a very, very strong common team. Like I mean, you could take this team right now and rip it. And again, they're just using well-known teams and playing it well. I think that's kind of again what this meta showed. Like again, Joe X9, same team. I mean, if you've kept up with this guy, he's always on this team. So yeah, just a bunch of players that are really good at what they know. So that's kind of what I did. I kind of brought something a little bit different. I mean, I built this the day before the tour, but I do know this core pretty well. The rest of it, without the Golden Go movies, I know the rest of the core pretty well. Okay, now let's talk about just the run in general. Overall, I feel like I wasn't exactly trying to win, if that makes sense. Like, there's a very different mindset you go into a tour if you're trying to win versus if you're trying to test the team. So some of my earlier runs, I was really struggling. I won't even lie, because I didn't know the team very well and I didn't exactly know how the matchups worked. But I was figuring it out, and then as you can see, like, started getting better afterward. Round 1, Chiyu, Flutter. So one of the biggest weaknesses of this team that I built, and one of the reasons I don't like Golden Go very much, but this is also an issue with the original team, the Tower team. It's that Booster Flutter is pretty difficult. It's much easier on the Tower team because you have Rillaboom, which is super bulky on that team. If you take his spread, which is, I mean, this should be his spread, just exactly. It's super bulky, makes it way easier. Other than that, like, you don't have the resist like I did. Really tough. But I guess my opponent didn't see that. I think is what ended up happening, and I ended up having a pretty easy game. Round 2, I lost. Again, like I don't blame like inexperience. That's a really dumb thing to cope about. But I kind of did feel like that. Like I was kind of getting back to learning how to play Golden Go again. It was a little bit different. So yeah, I played really poorly here. That's all I'll say. My opponent played way better. I talked about Lexicon at the start. Regional champion. This was really cool. I think he's a multi-time regional champion. 2 or 3. Anyway, really standard team. This is kind of what I built Golden Go for. So I kind of, with the combination of Scarf Ursh plus Golden Go, kind of just wiped this team. I guess one thing important to know is I really feel like Scarf Ursh kind of right now is kind of the anti-meta threat, if that makes sense. Right? Like it's not the most common thing right now, but it is very effective against much of the meta. Right? Like I mean, like let's just look at some of the Pokemon I faced during my run. Right? Like, you know, Chiyu, you know, Ogerpon gets U-turned on, Moongus gets U-turned on, instant loses. This Flutter Mane, if it's not booster energy, gets Surgeon Strikes, right? Like, how many threats on this team lose? This is like almost all the team loses to Scarf Ursh, right? And another team that really hard loses to Scarf Ursh has a Raging Bolt, which you can play around. Yeah, I mean, it's just a bunch of teams really weak to Scarf Ursh, and I think like recognizing that is probably step one, right? Like I really feel like Scarf Ursh is kind of in the most the strongest it's been in quite a while, right? Like Urshifu did kind of have a fall off, but you know, this tour kind of really proved it to me. This round I lost. How did I lose? I remember I choked really bad. I remember there was like a sequence I should have done to win the game, and I could have done to win the game, but I didn't do it. So straight up choke. That's all I can say. This opponents, they play pretty well. I remember I got a flinch that ended up mattering pretty hard, but it was a bit of a tougher matchup. Like Arc is pretty tough. I kind of had to call it Terra, and I called it wrong, and that made my job way tougher. It was just 50-50 kind of stuff, right? I led really poorly against Landers, which is, the team isn't weak to Landers in any sense. I just led really poorly into it, not expecting them to lead Landers. That makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, like Scarfish did Scarfish things, and Chimpao lifted thanks to Crash. I mean, the reality is you're gonna get crash flinches. Like, I don't want to be the guy to say it, but if you're clicking Icicle Crash 5 times in one game, you're gonna get 1 flinch. I mean, the odds are just in your favor at that point, right? I'm not saying I clicked Crash 5 times, but I did click it quite a lot throughout the tour and in that round. It's like at some point you're gonna get a crash flinch, especially when Chimpao is the first thing moving on the field, right? So that's just my opinion on Icicle Crash and flinches or whatever. Bacon 1-2, same team as Underhill, I believe. Alex Underhill, Lexicon VGC. Don't think they didn't have speed booster fighter, which made my life again way easier. This whole team loses to Scarfish now, way easier. And for my winning in, pretty standard team. This is NT is a little bit outdated, but again, I think I just played around Scarfish. This was booster special attack, so nothing else but my Urshifu. I U-turn on everything. Using a Mungus and fake out to just keep Raging Bolt off of my Urshifu. With this spread, also you do live 1 Thunderclap. I believe you always live from Raging Bolts, but you can take 1 if you absolutely have to. Which again, you don't want to be taking Thunderclaps, but something you can do. Anyway, all right. So my first opponent in cut was a pretty standard team. I think again a little bit outdated. I think this team fell off a little bit. This Oakmon was pretty cool, but again, like Raging Bolts, if I could keep if I could Raging Bolt off my Urshifu, it just swept the team, right? Like, too many Pokemon lose to Urshifu. Like, Oakmon is not an Urshifu check if you don't have Terra. I just U-turn on Oakmon, do 80%, and then swap an instant. So a pretty easy round. Just because of matchup. I think the matchup was really in my favor. And then I played Joe, who I was in call with, and he had a pretty standard team for him. This is just a Joe team. Played around Scarfish. I think I made some pretty big calls. Like turn 1, I clicked Surging Strikes into a Flutter Mane beside Oakmon. That won me game 1 pretty quickly. I think we both choked the game, but I feel like I played better most of the game, the majority of the set. So that was a nice win against Scarfish. Carried because they don't have anything against Scarfish. The nice thing with Scarfish is if you lead it, the worst case scenario is you U-turn out into a resist. Like that's really good value for a Pokemon that just, you know, that's a worst case scenario. You clicking U-turn, which is not a bad position. That's kind of what I did. I kind of lead it every game. Click U-turn, click crash, just get damage, and then bring it back in the end game. So I mean, Scarfish was kind of the MVP. I clicked Sludge Bomb quite a few times into his team. It did end up taking a KO onto Fluttermane, I'm pretty sure, and then it ended up taking a KO on Gathering Fire at the end. I'm pretty sure, but that was pretty funny. Mungus did quite a lot of work. I played E-Boy VGC. I think this was again like I won this game pretty hard. I ended up using Raging Bolt pretty effectively to slow down the special attackers in game 1. Game 2 I played pretty poorly. I made a really bad read. In game 3 I kind of just swept with Chimpao Urshifu lead. So another crazy Chimpao win. So I mean another crazy Scarfish win. Scarfish is really good in this tour. Yeah, again, like everything this team loses to Scarfish neutral. So greatest 1v1 mon. I was just clicking U-turn turn 1 and then bring it back in late game. You know, after it had, you know, Terra the Regidrago or Oakmon was on the field threatening damage. So my semifinals opponent, the story of this game is I got pretty lucky. I did get pretty lucky. I think luck did go both ways at the end. Like one of the games I got really lucky. I dodged 2 head smashes and I ended up losing anyway. Like that was probably the luckiest I was in that game, and I lost. So it didn't end up mattering. So yeah, no. I again, like booster flutter pretty difficult. I feel like I played worse most of the game. I got pretty bailed sometimes, but I do think I made some good calls, especially in the third game. Third game, I feel like I played well. I think, and matchup was completely out of my favor. So, you know, I mean, I'll take it. Like, again, you not that it was Crash that won this game, but like in general, you click ISO Crash so many times, you're eventually gonna get flinches. That's, I don't know, it's just my opinion, right? Like, you're gonna expect to land 17 rock slides against me. Yeah, you're gonna miss a couple. Not that 17 rock slides were clicked or rock slide was, just an example. Finally, finals against my really good friends. We were in call. I mean, just like with Joe as we played the tour. So it was pretty funny to play Joe in the top 16 while we're in call and play my friend in finals. Again, really even worse matchup because they play same team as my semis opponent with Chiyu, which is even tougher. You know, I can deal with Arcanine for the most part. Chiyu, way tougher to deal with. So, in all honesty, how I won this game, you gotta ask him, because I have no clue. I have no clue how I won this game. just to be completely honest, I played game 3 really well. Like I got every single turn correct in the third game. That game, I don't know how I won. You gotta ask him. You literally just gotta message him and let him know. So, yeah, shout out to him for giving me that game. Nah, I'm just funny. He's a good friend of mine, but he did have matchup. Again, like I feel like maybe it was the fact that I played so many of them that I feel like it's such a bad matchup. But I played so many like booster flutter teams, like booster flutter oriented teams that I kind of got traumatized. And I know it's such a bad matchup. It's such a bad matchup. And if I was watching this right now and you guys were enjoying this team, like I'd consider something that combats that problem. That just probably the main issue with that team, booster flutter. Flutter and Chiyu, of course, but that adds into the booster mode flutter problem. But yeah, like other than that, it was awesome. Full EVs, everything in the comments. Hope y'all enjoyed it. If y'all liked it, please like, comment, subscribe, everything like that. I'm gonna be uploading more often. I'll see y'all.